Hey everybody, welcome to TCP. If you like what you hear, click the subscribe button below. Today we're going to be talking about rookie landing spots, and we're starting with wide receivers of the NFC. So crack a cold one and enjoy.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option,
Perfect.
we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Oh, he's not going to be the starter on my team. This guy will never start on my team. No.
What does that tell you you need to do in a dynasty?
Build
You need
for
to have
depth.
depth.
Build for depth. Because guys get hurt, guys go on buys, guys do drugs, guys do heroin, they beat their wife sometimes. Right, go ahead. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
No. Really?
3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to TCP. I'm here with my brother James.
Whoop, whoop.
And as you can see, or probably not here, no Travis today. He's actually on a little hiatus. He will be back hopefully next week, so we can be back to being triple covered.
Yeah, he's on vacation scouting for us, so hopefully he brings back some good info.
I hope so, because there's a lot of rookies that are in camp right now, and it's not mandatory. So you'll see just mostly rookies there and guys making the team. So hopefully he comes back with a really good scouting report. Today, though, without Travis here, we're going to dive into rookie wide receivers and their landing spots as far as the NFL draft goes. And we're going to start with the NFC.
Yeah, let's. We decided we flipped a coin, and it was like, who's the first receiver that was taken? Happened to be DJ Moore. He happens to be in the NFC, so we'll start with the NFC and break it up a little bit.
And I actually like this guy a lot.
You know what? I do. I love this guy. I much more like his landing spot. Before the draft, before anything was done and whoever was taken and all that stuff, I love DJ Moore. I thought that he was a top 3, possibly even top 2 talent coming out. Then when he got drafted by the Panthers, that confirmed it for me. It locked him up into the top 2 wide receivers coming out. What are your thoughts about where he's landed? I mean, who else is there that's going to actually take away from him not coming right in and just producing right away?
Yeah,
Devin Funchess?
That's the thing, is that so he got picked 24th overall, so he was a first rounder. Okay, the first receiver taken the entire NFL draft, like you said. I think he went to an actual good spot. Like, he has Devin Funchess as like the prototypical 6'4" receiver.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Moore 6 foot, 210 pounds. I like his size for that number 2 role, but he can still give you number 1 receiver stats.
Right. I think that if after his first season, if he does gel well with Cam Newton, now you brought in C.J. Anderson there as well and McCaffrey. They have a nice young offense with Funchess as well. All of them are young besides Olsen. I think that if he gels with Cam Newton, he could take over the wide receiver 1 role there pretty easily from Funchess. So give him a year maybe, and I think he's the number 1 guy there.
Yeah, because Curtis Samuel was supposed to be the guy that was groomed to be the number 2 there, and he got hurt towards the end of the season, but they said he's actually on track to be back for camp.
Yeah, it should be a nice little 3.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that Samuel kind of slides into the number 3 spot, and then you're left with Funchess and Moore on the outside, and I think you have a good nucleus there for your offense. I think that Carolina did a good job because they even drafted a replacement for Greg Olsen by bringing in Ian Thomas as their tight end. So that's someone that can learn under Greg Olsen for the next maybe year, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But I love DJ Moore's landing spot. Cam Newton has to throw the ball a little more than he has, but I think he's going to be in a good situation.
Yeah, he runs good routes already. He's kind of polished there. They don't have to work on that too much, so I think that he should be a pretty easy fit to slide in and produce right away. But if I had to put a number total on it, I don't think he's going to go absolutely ballistic. But when you're coming out as a rookie and Cam Newton's throwing you the ball, he has all the potential in the world to have a wide receiver. I'd say he's going to finish in the top 24, so wide receiver 2 range to me.
Yeah, I agree. I like DJ Moore a lot, and I like him even more with his landing spot. He doesn't have to play behind anybody.
Correct. Yeah, he's going to walk right into camp and basically be fighting for a starting role right away.
Let's move on to the second guy, actually, because this is a guy that some people thought, a lot of experts out there that did the NFL, all the drafting analysis, and they thought Calvin Ridley would actually go before DJ Moore, but he didn't.
2 spots after, right?
2 spots after to the Atlanta Falcons, and
pretty damn good spot.
That's what I was thinking too. I didn't like Calvin Ridley as much as DJ Moore as far as a prospect goes, but him landing in Atlanta, I actually bumped him up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a couple things here that I'm leery about. And one is his size. He's 6'1". He's only 190 pounds, and he just has a small frame. Even though he's 6'1", his frame is just small. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to put on, 15 pounds or 20 pounds just because he gets a nutritionist and a trainer. Like, he's got a small body frame. He's like me. He's a skinny guy. So he can only bulk up so much. And I know he doesn't have to play outside. He can be the smaller guy because you have Sanu, you have Julio Jones. I'm a little worried about his size getting hit in the NFL. That and his age. He's already 24 years old. He's going to be 25 soon, and I don't know. He's a good route runner. Seems to be like it's a great fit for him. High-powered offense. I just don't know why I don't love Calvin Ridley. I'm not a huge fan. It's almost he reminds me of Taylor Gabriel, who also didn't work out there.
Here's why I like Ridley though, is because you have Julio Jones there, so Calvin Ridley comes in not having to take over the number 1 spot. He can be the number 2 guy.
True.
Or you can he's a great route runner, so you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up outside, and that's the one thing that comes with his age. I don't love his age, like you said, but that's the one thing that comes with age is that he's already developed that route running skill. And so in a situation where he's in Atlanta with Matt Ryan throwing in the ball, I love that situation because Matt Ryan is all about the timing.
No, I agree. I think that he can, for sure, he's going to produce right away. Like Atlanta throws to everyone. 2 tight ends, they throw to every receiver they have, they throw to both the running backs. He does spread the ball around very well, so Calvin Ridley is going to get some targets. But from where he's going, like in rookie drafts, you're talking, pick number 6, pick 7?
Yeah, I see. I
just like a lot of running backs more. If we're talking rookie dynasty, drafts, I like the running backs more than I like the receivers coming out this year. So I keep dropping these guys down just a little bit more. They started off being in discussion as a top 5. Now to me, the Ridleys and the James Washingtons, all the guys we're going to talk about, Sutton, they've kind of dropped a few spots back. Not to say that they're not going to produce right away, but I just don't believe the wide receiver talent is as good as the running back talent coming out.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. But you're still drafting him in the first round of rookie drafts. And the way I kind of look at him is if you can get him like in the 9 or 10 spot, I think you're getting great value. If you can get him that late.
Yeah.
I don't like him in the number 6 or 7 spot, but if you can get him on the back end of the first round, I love that situation. I think he's going to produce immediate dividends for you.
Who finishes higher fantasy scoring PPR? Calvin Ridley or DJ Moore? Year 1.
I will take DJ Moore slightly. Not by a lot.
I agree. I think DJ Moore. But Calvin Ridley, the potential is there. If one injury happens to Sanu or Julio Jones or anyone else on that offense, Calvin Ridley, the second half of the season, could have a gigantic year with Matt Ryan. So be on the lookout there. As long as everyone stays healthy, though, I'll take DJ Moore.
I think Ridley's going to be the number 2 receiver scoring-wise as far as the rookies go, and the number 3 guy we'll talk about in a few minutes, who I think is going to be the number 3.
Sure.
But for now, we'll move on to the 3rd receiver taken for the NFC. And that's Dante Pettis, taken by San Francisco 49ers in the 2nd round, 44th overall.
So, when the draft was going on, was it just me, or did you think that was a little early?
For San Francisco, you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yes.
100%
so I do.
I'm like, wow, 2nd round, Dante Pettis. I mean, okay, I liked Dante Pettis before. We spoke about him many times here. But 2nd round, there was a lot of guys I felt that were behind him that had a lot more talent. The Christian Kirks, Anthony Millers, Michael Gallup, all those guys. And then Pettis, to me, was behind them before the NFL draft. Now he got drafted ahead of all those guys. Clearly they love him. Another smaller guy, though. 6'1", 185 pounds. It's like...
The reason I heard that San Fran liked him so much too is that he's a guy that can do everything as far as he can do punt returns, kick returns. They can line him up all over the field basically, and I think that's what they kind of wanted. I don't know if it's too gadgety because San Francisco has decent receivers. You saw Marquise Goodwin flash a lot last year, right?
Right.
They love Trent Taylor.
Pierre Garçon was injured all last year, so he's going to come back and be probably the number 1.
Right, and he's 32 years old, so yeah, he is getting a little older, but you brought in Jimmy Garoppolo last year, so obviously you want to throw. You didn't bring in Jimmy Garoppolo to just hand the ball off, 40 times a game. So I think he's going to get targets. I think he will be useful. I just don't know how much he's going to be in the first year.
That's what I mean. He needs, I should say, he needs to put on a little bit of weight, and he needs one of these other 3 guys to move on. For me, I don't see him being better than Trent Taylor, Marquise Goodwin, or Pierre Garçon in the first year or 2. So to me, he needs to prove himself on special teams and do what he does on special teams, keep his roster spot, everything. Obviously, he's going to stay on the roster. He's a 2nd round pick, so he's not going to get cut. They're not going to release him or anything crazy. But he needs to prove himself in other aspects before he tries to get into that starting lineup at wide receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
unless they're going to run a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, which I don't think they do that either.
To me, it's going to take time, and also don't forget that Garoppolo loves throwing to the tight end.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be like the 7th option.
As soon as he took over the job there in San Fran, like Kittle stock went up too. So he doesn't just throw to 1 or 2 guys; like he throws it all over the place. So I don't see Dante Pettis scoring very high in this rookie year.
That's what I'm saying. Where do you see him finish? Top what?
As far as just rookies?
No. We can go rookies, I guess.
I see him finishing probably in the top 10 in rookies, but
as
far as
back in top 10,
as far as like a redraft, I see him finishing as probably like a wide receiver, like late 3, early 4, wide receiver 3-4.
I don't even know if he's that. I think you're giving him a lot of credit there.
I think he'll be okay because I think they'll be able to use him a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, the kid looks good, but I thought he got drafted very high, so I don't know. Maybe they see something that we haven't seen yet.
Well, here's a guy I thought would be drafted before.
Okay, me too.
Okay, and we're going to move on to Christian Kirk.
So 3 spots after Pettis.
Three spots after. Yeah, 47th overall, 2nd round. This is who I thought they were going to go for when he started dropping. And come to find out that the reason maybe he did drop so far was because of that arrest that happened in Phoenix.
Yeah, the people knew about that wasn't made public.
Yeah, the media didn't announce it. I guess I don't know if the media didn't know about it because if they would have knew, they would have said something.
You would think, yeah.
But he got arrested at the Phoenix Waste Management
golf tournament.
Yeah, golf tournament, and it was he was a college kid at the time, and I know he's going into the combine and everything right before, but he was drunk, so it was disorderly conduct. I guess him and one of his buddies were throwing rocks in the parking lot afterwards. They were being kicked out, so and he chalked it up to a stupid mistake.
But he threw rocks through a car window.
One window broke, yes, which I'm sure he's waiting for his rookie contract so he can pay for that.
Maybe he'll buy that guy or girl a new car. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But chalk it up to just a stupid college mistake. We've seen it happen time to time in the world of social media now, 2018. You're not going to get away with anything. You got arrested or you got busted by a school campus. Like it's going to be out in the media. And this came out after, but still maybe is a reason why his stock dropped a little bit. So,
but talent-wise, I think he's got a lot of talent, and he couldn't have landed in a better spot for me. You have Bradford as a starting quarterback now, which isn't the greatest, but you also got Josh Rosen there behind him. The only person that's there is Larry Fitzgerald, really. You have J.J. Nelson and Larry Fitzgerald. To me, putting him there with Larry Fitzgerald to teach him for a year or maybe 2 that he has left, could not be a better landing spot for me, for Christian Kirk. He immediately bumped up in my rookie rankings, and I think now he is a top three wide receiver for sure coming out, if not top 2, right there with DJ Moore. I mean, the situation that he's in is outstanding.
I love his situation, too. I love they paired him with a good young quarterback like Josh Rosen, too, so those guys can kind of be the next group, away from Palmer and Fitzgerald. It's going to go right into Rosen and Kirk. He's best suited in the slot. I don't know if they'll try him anywhere else, but he's best suited in the slot. That's where he played at Texas A&M. And who better to learn from than Hall of Famer, soon to be Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald?
Yeah, truth be told, we're in the middle right now as we're recording in a dynasty startup, a 25-man super flex dynasty startup, 14 teams, and Christian Kirk is still on the board, and I think I'm actually on the clock because I can feel my phone vibrating right now, and I had one pick before we started recording, so I'm pretty sure I'm on the clock right now. Christian Kirk is still available, and I will be looking to get him. I have 2 picks this round. Chances are I will be taking him with one of them. I like him that much. He's a little short, 5'10", he's 200 pounds. But again, the landing spot that he's in with Rosen coming in, they're going to be fine there at quarterback, and he's going to get plenty of targets in Arizona because they're going to be, in my opinion, losing a lot of games. They're going to be down.
Yeah, I think they're going to be behind.
It's going to be David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, and Christian Kirk show all year long. So to me, he can easily finish in the top 24 wide receivers year 1.
So you have him finishing third. You have him finishing 3rd in fantasy points behind Moore, Ridley.
I like DJ Moore, and then I like Christian Kirk, and then I like Ridley.
Okay.
I think Kirk and Ridley will be duking it out for who scores more points. I think that they're both going to have very good productive years year 1. And Bradford, you have a veteran quarterback there, very accurate as well. I think that why can't Christian Kirk succeed right away? There's no other talent there that's going to be saying otherwise. And that's the same thing. It's almost like by default. Same thing with DJ Moore. You have Devin Funchess, you have Samuels, and that's it really. So by default, you got to start bumping these guys up because the targets are going to be there. So as long as they can catch the ball and they don't have a bunch of drops, I don't see why either one of these guys can't produce right away with the targets they're going to be getting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I want to move on to this next guy because I actually like him quite a bit. Anthony Miller. Now, he's taken with the 51st pick of the draft in the 2nd round still. He's about 4 spots behind Christian Kirk. the NFC had a little run here on wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's out of Memphis, 5'11", 201 pounds, and I like his landing spot a lot. I'm a believer in Trubisky.
Me
In
too.
his second year. I wasn't a believer in his first year. I thought he was very raw. He'd only played 13 games at quarterback in his senior year
North Carolina,
at
right?
North Carolina, so I wasn't really sold on Trubisky. I thought he got better as the year went along.
Were you not? Hold, first of all, were you not sold on him though because of the receiving core that was there when he took over,
No.
or were you not just because of raw talent?
It was a mix of everything. It was
Because he didn't have much.
I thought he wasn't ready, and I thought he had nothing to work with there. And you
Yeah,
got
he didn't
John
have-
Fox, who was let's face it, John Fox at the Bears coach there is very vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's out the door now.
But see, the vanilla to me would help your quarterback situation because it's not a whole bunch of moving parts. It's basically like we're gonna run a straight up offense of XYZ. It's gonna be very vanilla. Like that to me would be more made for a rookie coming in that is raw talented, that had raw talent that didn't have as many
It's a lot
game
of handoffs,
experience.
though.
Well, they have a good running back. You have Jordan Howard and you have Cohen, and who really was their wide receiving core last year. Like it wasn't good. Cam and Meredith got hurt for the entire year, and it was a bunch of just no-name guys.
No, I agree with that. But
So now you load him up with Allen Robinson,
Mhm.
you give him Anthony Miller, you give him Taylor Gabriel, you give him Trey Burton. That you still have a Howard and Cohen. Like he's got every weapon necessary. He's got wide receiver one talent. He's got good tight end talent. He's got talent everywhere. So he has no reason to not succeed this year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm all in on Trubisky this year. I think he's going to have a really good year.
So Anthony Miller, where does he fit in the offense? So you have Allen Robinson's going to be the number one. Does Anthony Miller somehow make wide receiver two
I think he
by
does.
the end of the year?
I think he takes over the wide receiver 2 spot behind Allen Robinson. If Robinson struggles at all, I think Miller's a kid that can actually step up and kind of take over that number 1 receiver role if Robinson misses any time. Taylor Gabriel is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's just a guy, and I think he'll be just okay. He's not going to be a top receiver.
I think if Taylor Gabriel couldn't get it done in Atlanta with that high-powered offense with Matt Ryan throwing the ball 45 times a game, it's again I don't know if the talent's not there or what, but if he can't succeed in that offense, I'll take my chances on Miller before I would Taylor Gabriel.
I mean, I love Gabriel as a number 3, not on your fantasy team, but as a number 3 in Chicago's offense, because he's going to do what he needs to do. But as far as like Anthony Miller goes, he's unquestioned in my opinion the number 2 there. And if Robinson has to miss time, I think Miller can step up. The only knock on this kid is really
Ball security.
Yeah, ball security, turnovers.
Well, he bobbles a lot of passes, and
Right.
And when you have a second-year quarterback coming in that's going to be throwing the ball, I mean, you kind of need to be sure-handed because I'm sure not all the passes are going to be right on his numbers, So he needs to get that in check, and bobbling the ball, that leads to turnovers. And that division that Chicago's in, you play Detroit's defense twice, which is not pushover. They're average defense. You play the Minnesota Vikings 2 times. That's a top 5 defense. And you play the Packers, who just beefed up their cornerback situation and drafted 2 young, talented cornerbacks. So it's not going to get any easier for them.
But that's why I like him having the number 2 corner on him everywhere he goes, especially in his rookie year. He isn't expected to come in and take over the number 1 receiver spot.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can wait on him. You leave him on your taxi squad for the first 6 weeks or so and see how that offense is going to pan out. Because right now, the Chicago Bears offense, let's be honest, is completely revamped and new, and you don't know who's going to gel with who.
I love their coach.
If he gels well with Trubisky in training camp, then Anthony Miller could easily be the number 2 on that team. So I like him moving forward, and I think he'll have a productive season for sure. He jumped up my rankings. What about you?
No, he did 100%. Like if you're talking about
I
rookie
moved him
draft,
up like 7 spots.
Yeah, you're looking at like the number. I would even as far as like 11, 12. I wouldn't be surprised if he went 11th or 12th, like in the first round, or
No,
even like
he's gonna
201, 202, somewhere around there.
Early second round is going to be exactly where he's at. Him and Pettis.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'd rather have him over Pettis. I'd rather have Anthony Miller over Dante Pettis.
I have Miller over Pettis as well.
Man, it is what it is.
So let's move on to my team. We drafted Michael Gallup.
Colorado State.
No, Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys at number 81, 3rd round. I did think they were going to go receiver 2nd round. I thought that we had our eye on Cortland Sutton. Didn't happen. Cortland Sutton got taken in the 2nd round by Denver.
Right.
But this is a nice consolation prize. I actually was a pretty big fan of Michael Gallup. We already had him going in rookie drafts in the high 2nd round.
Right.
And I think that he either stayed put or moved up a spot or 2 because Dallas's wide receiving corps is a complete mess right now. It's an absolute mess. You have Allen Hurns as your number 1 that they brought in. Terrence Williams just got arrested for for the car accident he had where he crashed his
DUI.
Lamborghini into a light pole.
Did you see his mugshot?
No.
It was rough. It looked like Tiger Woods' mugshot when he got busted for all the pills and everything like that.
Have you ever seen like a really good-looking mugshot though, or no?
Yeah, I have actually.
Have you seen that Twitter account? Like, if you listen to the show at all, we're real big proponents of the whole Twitter sphere. You know, we're on Twitter all the time, and there's an account that posts mugshots of like hot girls' mugshots. Have you seen that?
Yeah, some of them are hot.
Yeah, but it's funny because they look like no makeup, stuff like that, which is kind of funny because they still look good, but they actually have an account set up for that.
Yeah, you
hot girls' mugshots.
Oh, that's the name of it.
I don't know the name. I don't know the name of it.
All right,
let's
stay focused here.
I'll at you.
Yes, please.
So Michael Gallup, 6'1", 205 pounds, out of Colorado State, and this guy was a great receiver in college, and I'm hoping that it transfers to the NFL side. He's got Dak Prescott there to work with, and I think it's a fresh start for the entire offense, to be honest with you, because now you have Dez Bryant out of there, so you don't have that distraction
Jason
anymore.
Witten.
You have Jason Witten out of there, so there's a lot of targets freed up. So even if this guy isn't your prototypical, like, I need to have this guy, he's going to get targets.
Yeah, he's pretty sure-handed as well, so can you see him getting over 100 targets? I easily can.
Easily.
Okay, so let's say he gets 120 targets. He gets 120 targets, you're talking like 70 catches.
That's what I'm
70
saying.
or more.
It's a possibility for a high catch rate because you look at the other guys they have there in Dallas, and Allen Hurns, who's hasn't stayed healthy. I mean, let's face it, he hasn't been the bill of health his entire
hasn't
career.
really impressed me much. Yeah,
right. He's
just a guy.
Okay, he's good.
He's a guy.
And then you have Michael Gallup there now. You have Cole Beasley, who only runs from the slot.
Mm-hmm.
They get rid of Ryan Switzer and trade him to Oakland. So now he's not there. So now you have Beasley only in the slot.
Right.
But then you have guys like Deontay Thompson. To me, it's a big mess at the wide receiver spot right now. But without having Dez there, and having no Witten, and no one really at tight end to step up and take Witten's spot yet, that frees up a lot of targets. And if you're going to tell me that Michael Gallup's going to get 100 targets in his rookie year, I'm in.
But is 100 targets from Dak Prescott different than 100 targets from,
But the thing is that
Sam Bradford?
Dak Prescott is not an inaccurate quarterback.
Okay.
He's not throwing a ton of interceptions.
This is what scares me about Zeke, which actually benefits the receivers, is that Zeke right now is going to be, he's going to have a tough year, I think. They're going to stack the box. They're going to make Dak Prescott throw to beat him, which is favorable to the Michael Gallups, the Allen Hurns, the Cole Beasleys, because they're going to probably be throwing a little bit more than they normally would, because they're going to be seeing a lot of, there's no one to double team now anymore. Dez is gone. I don't even know if Dez really got double teamed last year at all, but I mean,
they didn't have to.
They didn't have to, exactly. But you get rid of not only Dez, but Jason Witten too. This offense to me is completely up in the air, and it took a huge step back. They didn't really replace any of those guys. They didn't replace the tight end, like you said. Jason Witten up and leaves right before the draft. Like literally right at the draft, he ups and leaves. And leaves them kind of high and dry, in my opinion. And then Dez does the same thing. He leaves, and now it's Gallup and Hurns. To me, Michael Gallup could be the wide receiver 1 at the end of this year. He could outscore Allen Hurns easily, in my opinion. So, but what is that number? What is a wide receiver 1 on the Dallas Cowboy offense? I don't know. Like, what is it? What has it been in the last year? You have Dez Bryant getting 65 catches for 800 yards. That's their wide receiver 1 the last couple of years.
Right, and
so
that's the thing.
He can easily get that.
And that's the thing is that you still have Terrence Williams there, who we talked about. Is he
So
the
what?
de facto number 1?
No.
Because I don't even know if it's him or Hurns that's going to be the number 1 there. But I'm not a big fan of Terrence Williams.
I'll put my chips in Michael Gallup to say that Gallup outproduces Hurns one-on-one, and he outproduces Terrence Williams. At the end of the season, the only guy that's going to have more receptions than him, most likely, is Cole Beasley. That's it.
I think Beasley might lead in receptions.
But fantasy points in a PPR league, I'll take Michael Gallup right behind Cole Beasley if that's the case.
Did Terrence Williams even have a touchdown last year?
Who knows?
Either at 0 or 1. So I mean, Gallup doesn't have to do much to be Dallas' top receiver.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's almost like by default he's going to be either the wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. I just don't know what that production is going to be at the end of the year. How many catches, touchdowns? Because to me, that whole offense is up in the air. So good luck, Dallas. Hopefully your defense holds tight. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Usually you have teams that use the run. Use the run to set up the pass. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think you're going to have to use the pass to kind of help set the run,
which is not their forte with Ezekiel.
They want to run the ball. which is why they took Will Scarborough. So, I mean, I think they're going to use him more than just like 1 or 2 carries a game.
Ground and pound.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Here's a guy right here that I want to talk about, too, that moved up a lot after the draft because of where he got drafted. Tre'Quan Smith.
How many times do we say before the draft, whatever receiver goes to the Saints is going to get bumped up? It could have been anyone. It could have been the homeless guy behind the grocery store in the back. Like, it could have been anybody. You put them on the Saints with Drew Brees, it's going to go up. It's the value.
Especially in the Sean Payton offense. It's not just Drew Brees. It's the way Sean Payton runs his offense.
But Drew Brees helps. If Drew Brees retired,
100%.
If Drew Brees retired today, I wouldn't feel so great about Tre'Quan Smith. To me, it's Drew Brees. But so who do you have there? You have Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
You have Cameron Meredith.
Right.
Tre'Quan Smith.
And Ted Ginn. Who's got to be at least 40 years old by now.
So where does Tre'Quan fit in? 6'2", 210 out of UCF. I mean, he's a slot receiver.
He's a third-round pick, so he does have a little bit of pedigree. I mean,
is Ted Ginn the odd man out?
I think that Ted Ginn is getting older. So he's just not going to have as many opportunities. Like, I think that Tre'Quan Smith, I don't see Tre'Quan Smith really producing that much in this first year.
He's a third-round pick 27.
Which does kind of suck because you want him in there with Drew Brees. You don't want him to be at the tail end of Drew Brees' career, like, as he's walking out the door, all of a sudden Tre'Quan's kind of pushed into the starting role. But Michael Thomas needed help. That's why they went out and got Cameron Meredith. They still don't know how Cameron Meredith is going to be. Cameron Meredith had one good season for the Bears, and then he got hurt as soon as he was going to take on a more prominent role. So he's coming off a major injury. They don't know how he's going to be. So this, to me, was just kind of insurance. In case Cameron Meredith doesn't work out or doesn't come back to 100% healthy, they have this guy slide into the number 2 spot. So I don't know how much he's going to produce this first year. And dynasty-wise, though, you're looking at probably the back end of the second or the beginning of the third. That's just because he's going to the Saints.
And that could end up being a steal. Depending on what happens with Ted Ginn, even if Cameron Meredith stays healthy, they run a lot of 3 receiver sets. They run some 4 receiver sets. Like that, he'll get some targets, but like you said, he's not getting the Michael Gallup targets. He's not getting Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk targets from me year one.
Right.
Because they have so many other guys that are there. They throw to Kamara, they throw to Ingram, they throw to their tight end. Like, they throw to everyone there.
Well, let's not forget they ran the ball more than they ever have in more recent years too last year. So they kind of switched.
Yeah, I see Tre'Quan Smith being a hold. If you're drafting him, he's going to be on your taxi squad. But by year 2, which could be Drew Brees' last season, that's when I start seeing him maybe start to break out a little bit. But for me, he's a hold and he's a wait. He's not going to be a guy I'm taking needing production right away.
Yeah, for me, this guy's a total flip candidate. If I'm taking this guy, especially the late second, early third,
hoping that he pops.
Yeah, I'm throwing on my taxi squad. As soon as he pops, I'm going to try to flip this guy because he's in a Drew Brees offense. Because who knows what's going to happen after Drew Brees leaves.
Correct. Who we have next after Tre'Quan Smith?
Here's where it gets a little dicey.
Yeah. So
this is the first of 3 receivers in a row taken by Green Bay Packers. The first one they took here is Jamon Moore. He was in the 4th round, 133 overall.
Wow.
So he's out of Missouri, 6'3", 207 pounds, and that's what they kind of like to do. Like, we've seen their recipe from Green Bay lately is that they take these bigger-bodied receivers late in the draft, and then not all of these guys make it. Like, he's the first one of they drafted 3 in a row basically. They drafted one in the 4th, and they drafted 5th and 6th. So 3 rounds in a row they took a receiver. Kind of a big-bodied, same type of style.
But were you surprised that Jamon Moore went 2 full rounds ahead of Equanimeous St. Brown?
Yes.
Because Equanimeous St. Brown, everyone was talking about him to be a mid-round second rookie pick or even higher than mid-round second rookie pick. And then all of a sudden Jamon Moore gets taken, and you're like, where's St. Brown? And then he gets drafted 2 full rounds, 70 people after Jamon Moore. So
we'll talk about why he got drafted so far back in a minute. We'll get to him in a minute.
But in your opinion, who has a better, since they're both on the same team, they're both on the Packers, St. Brown and Moore, who has a better first year? Jamon Moore?
I think Moore.
Really? So you have, they let go of Nelson there. So you do have an opening because you have Devontae Adams, you have Randall Cobb, and not much after that. Geronimo Allison.
Right now, I think on the depth chart you have Geronimo Allison.
They added
Adams and Allison.
And they got Jimmy Graham as well in the offseason. Mm-hmm. So you have Jimmy Graham there as a red zone target. To me, Jamon Moore could be the number 2 because you're going to run Randall Cobb mostly in the slot. But where does Ty Montgomery fit in? Is Ty Montgomery still running with the running backs, even though now they have Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, who both did pretty well last year? where's Ty Montgomery fit in here? Because if Ty Montgomery, they're going to use him as a receiver, most likely. If that's how they end up starting their offense, then I don't think Jamon Moore and St. Brown fit in anywhere for a while. Like, where do you put them?
Well, here's the thing.
You have Graham and Adams, Cobb. You have Ty Montgomery, and then these guys are talked about. So
if you ask me, Jamon Moore is kind of the same. Actually, all three of these receivers that Green Bay took, which we'll get to the other two in a minute. But Jamon Moore is a guy that only is going to be relevant because of where he landed. He landed in Green Bay, and you have Aaron Rodgers there. And as long as Aaron Rodgers there, any receiver that they take or they have on their team is going to have some kind of relevance at some point. I own Geronimo Allison in a Dynasty League, and I'm holding on to him just because he's on Green Bay. If he was on a different team, I probably wouldn't hold this guy. But just because he's in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, I have to hold on to this guy.
He has a chance.
And that's what I'm talking about, Jamon Moore. I think Jamon Moore and I think Equanimeous and St. Brown are the two guys that make it to the team. They make the 53-man roster. I don't see them getting a whole lot of production that first year, though. Yeah. I think Rodgers spreads the ball around too much, and it's going to be whatever one of these guys earns the trust of Rodgers. If he starts throwing him the ball and he's dropping it or he's bobbling it, you quickly lose trust. Like, Rodgers is going to go with the guys that he trusts. You lost Jordy Nelson, so someone has to step up and take those targets, and it's not going to be Randall Cobb. I think Cobb stays the same. I think he's going to stay right on the same targets that he had the last couple of years. They're going to use him in the slot. He'll get a couple of touchdowns. He's not going to bump up. It's going to be somebody else that has to slide into that role, but it's going to be which one of these guys is going to impress Rodgers the most.
So training camp, preseason, look for all three of these wide receivers to see what they're doing, and then to see what's nice or what I like about rookie drafts, at least how we do them, is we do it way before all that happens. So you don't get to see these guys in OTAs and training camp. You don't get to see them in the preseason. Like a redraft league, usually in redrafts you don't draft until late August,
right.
Whereas rookie drafts sometimes happen in June, July. So you're going to have to make your decision up pretty quick on which one of these guys you think has a better chance of being a starter, because the draft's coming, and you're not going to have all the information that you want by seeing them with your own eyes. You have to read about it, you have to dive in, you have to go on Twitter, you have to see what everyone's talking about before. You have to do your research,
Yeah, I agree.
Between Moore and St. Brown, career-wise, I think St. Brown could have a better career, but I think immediate impact, if I'm looking at which two I need quicker to produce for me, I'll take Jamon Moore for sure.
I would agree with that. I have that listed the same exact way, and we'll talk about the second guy they took right after this pick here. We got Justin Watson actually going in the 5th round, number 144 overall to Tampa Bay. And this is a guy that on previous episodes we talked about this guy, and he's one of our sleepers at the Combine because he didn't get invited to the Combine.
Correct.
But his pro day was off the charts, and I remember giving you guys the stats on what his pro day looked like. And this is someone no one ever heard of. He came out of Pennsylvania, not Penn State. Pennsylvania.
Penn, yes.
Yeah.
6'2", 215. Justin Watson looks good. Man, looks really good. You know what? The one knock I have is that he went to Tampa. I don't like the situation he went to. I think that he's going to be playing behind a lot of other talent that's there. And Jameis Winston as his quarterback isn't the most accurate quarterback in the league. Let's be honest. So I don't know how long you have to wait on this guy until he starts producing.
For me, this is 100% a guy you draft and you put in your taxi squad.
Where do you draft him?
Because you got to remember, you have Deshaun Jackson, who's got 1 year left on his contract. The jury's still out on Godwin. I think Godwin's good.
Me too.
And I think he should slide in the number 2 role. And you have Evans and Godwin, and then Justin Watson is someone you could. I think Humphries only has 1 year left on his contract as well.
So Humphries and Jackson's out.
I think this is the guy that takes over for Humphries
next year.
This is a guy that's not going to get in a redraft league. This guy's probably not draftable.
In a redraft league, no, I wouldn't touch this guy with a 10-foot pole. But if we're talking rookie drafts,
he has to get drafted. And I would say probably the 4th round, but I would say probably early 4th.
And I would take a shot on him just because of his pro day. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash. 10-yard split time was outstanding. Vertical jump was 40 inches. The only thing that was a knock against him is that he didn't run the best routes, but he was catching everything. Anything that was around him, he was catching left and right, and that's why he jumped up. He wasn't even supposed to be drafted. I mean, coming out of Penn, no one really heard of him. Then all of a sudden, his pro day, he just knocked everything out of the park, and all of a sudden he's getting drafted in the 5th round above guys that are bigger names going in that we'll get to now. I mean, the Auden Tates and the
Deion Kane, Auden Tate, he got taken before Cedric Wilson. He got taken before Richie James, Trey Quinn.
St. Brown. There was a lot of guys that hadn't even heard of Justin Watson before the draft. before the pro day, and then all of a sudden he gets drafted in the 5th round. So he's one of those guys that's you missed one. Scroll back up. He's one of those guys that could turn heads and maybe get some playing time, and hopefully it works out because being from Penn, he deserves it.
I'm cheering for the kid. I hope he does good. Let's move on to the second Packer wide receiver that was taken. That was Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Who?
It just rolls right off your tongue, doesn't it? Let's call him MVS.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
So they have ESB and they have MVS.
Yeah, 206 pounds. He's 6'4", another big wide receiver. So you got 2 of them now. We haven't got to St. Brown yet. What do you? I hadn't heard anything about this guy before the draft. From South Florida. Heard the name, but had no idea what he did or what he looked like or anything.
Never saw any tape on this kid until the draft. But once again, like we talked about with Green Bay, they just take these big body receivers and whoever sticks, sticks. The chances on all 3 of these guys making the 53-man roster is pretty slim. Mm-hmm. My opinion, unless he does something in the OTAs, I think this guy's the odd man out, is Valdez-Scantling. But you know what I mean? If he comes out, then all of a sudden he earns the respect of Aaron Rodgers, then he stays. And that's just kind of how it is. So this is like another wait and see for me. I don't have this guy on my draft board, to be honest with you. It's only a 5-round rookie draft.
He won't get drafted.
I don't have him on my rookie draft board.
No, he's not going to. I actually have 2 5th-round picks, and I guess depending on who's around there, it's just, to me, it's a complete coin flip of who's going to make this roster and who's going to produce. So I'm staying away from, what's his name? Valdez-Scantling.
Valdez-Scantling. Yeah, sorry. I mean, no disrespect to you, Mr. Valdez-Scantling, but
you're probably watching. I apologize. Good luck, sir. Go ahead.
Let's move on to the third and final Green Bay Packer wide receiver taken. Equanimeous St. Brown was taken in the 6th round at 207, and this to me was a huge, huge surprise that he dropped this far.
Tell me why he did, though.
So, after everything happens, after the draft happens, we get all kinds of rumors and all kinds of stories come out, and he's actually backed these stories up. So it ended up not being rumors. He has his own regimen getting ready before games, and it doesn't include stretching.
Do you think this is why you dropped multiple rounds?
This and the fact that he said he wouldn't play special teams.
Okay,
when you're drafted in the draft and you're a rookie coming out, and they do your interview, and the first thing they ask you is like, "Hey, are you willing to play special teams?" and you say no, to me that'd be an instant red flag. Because if you're a rookie coming out and you know you have people ahead of you that are probably better at this point in their career, and they're in the middle of their prime, and then you're like, "No, can't play special teams." Like, to me, that should be an instant, yep, I'll do whatever you need. You need me to get water for the guys? Whatever you need me to do, I'll get water for the guys. You want me to run routes over here? Fine. You want me to do that? Fine,
okay,
whatever.
Okay, but let's just say this. Let's go with this narrative. You're a wide receiver coming out. As we know, wide receivers that think that they're wide receiver ones, they're the cockiest of all positions. Quarterback, running back, wide receivers have that mentality, like, you get me the ball, we're going to win type of mentality. Throw the ball up in the air and I'll go get it mentality. So he's probably saying, no, I don't want to play special teams. I'm a wide receiver. Just like when they asked Lamar Jackson, will you run the 40-yard dash? No, I'm not going to run the 40-yard dash. I'm not going to run routes because I'm a quarterback. I know what I am. So it's almost like maybe it's one of those bravado things of like, I'm a wide receiver. Regardless if you want to take me or not, I'm going to fit in the NFL as a wide receiver. I'm not going to be doing special teams and doing all this other stuff. I'm a wide receiver. I'm not a blocker. I'm not a punt returner. I want to be a wide receiver.
But
so it's cockiness.
That's where rookies earn their money. That's how they earn their playing time.
Well, maybe
by playing special teams. He's 6'5", 214 pounds, and he can catch. So, what else could it possibly be that he got drafted in the 6th round?
I don't know.
207th pick overall.
I don't know. I mean, he didn't have much talent his last senior year at quarterback at Notre Dame. They had a great offensive line, and they ran the hell out of Josh Adams there. But St. Brown just had a mediocre season. He's just gigantic. He's 6'5", 215. If he puts on a couple more pounds and he's like a 220, 225, 6'5", to me, now you're in that status of, yeah, throw the ball up in the air, I'm going to go get it. I think that's why he sticks on the roster before
and he can play the
Valdez.
slot. 6'5" slot guy?
Yeah, but you have Randall Cobb there. Where's he going to fit in?
Well, that's one guy you can learn behind.
I guess. That's a narrative
As far as
that
the route running.
you were talking about, too. We all think that when players come in, rookies come in at the same position, that the guys that are at that position are going to help them.
No.
They're not.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Cobb's going to be like, hey, man, let me show you how to take my job. I'm saying that he's going to watch Cobb and practice, and if he's a good student and he watches everything these guys are doing, guys that have done it for years and years, you're going to learn. He doesn't have to have Cobb come over and put his hand around his shoulder and be like, hey man, let me show you how to do this. All he has to do is watch, and watch intently, and see what this guy does, see what Aaron Rodgers likes, know when to break, and watch the routes. Like, he doesn't have to have him under his wing.
To me, in Green Bay, size is not a thing. It's Aaron Rodgers is, if your routes are good, he's gonna get you the ball. If you can catch and your routes are crisp, he's gonna get you the ball. St. Brown is not that. He's not a crisp route runner. So it's where does he fit in? It's only in the long ball in the red zone, because he's not going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb, who he already has established, rapport with, and you have Jimmy Graham's going to be the red zone target, supposedly, in Green Bay. That never works out. But St. Brown is not a good route runner yet. So unless he just constantly is working on his route running, his catching ability is fine, but he needs to work on his routes, because if he's just one of those guys that's just going to send deep every single time, his production is not going to be very good.
Well, not only that, but the thing that kind of worries me about him is that not so much his dad being like the LeVar Ball light, but
he is though.
It is kind of.
His dad's got 3 sons. Just to give you the backstory, his dad has 3 sons. He's St. Brown Equinemius, I should say, is the oldest. His younger brother, they're saying, is a 5-star recruit prospect. Like, he's better than this St. Brown. So is it the same exact thing as LeVar Ball in basketball, where his dad, who's been coaching him his entire life, like, he eventually has to cut the cord and let the NFL take over. If he's going to be in between, telling him how to work and how to stretch and how not to do this and how not to do that, then St. Brown could easily just not make the roster because they don't want to deal with his dad. So I'm hoping that's not what happens to his kid. I hope the kid gets a legit chance, and maybe the dad backs off a little bit, but you never know.
Something's obviously got to be up with him if he was the 22nd receiver taken in the draft.
I agree.
22nd.
So I like the next guy better than him.
So do I.
So that moves us to the Dallas Cowboys take another wide receiver, Cedric Wilson from Boise State, 6'2", 190, a little skinny, but he did very well at Boise State, and he's got that big home run potential that, I guess, to me, he's more like a Bryce Butler type that you guys used to have.
Yeah, we let him go when we basically replaced him with
Cedric Wilson.
Yes.
So you replace him with a younger guy. So my take on it, though, is how often did you really throw Bryce Butler the ball in Dallas?
Not that often.
Dak Prescott doesn't throw deep that much. It's a lot of crossing routes, a lot of slants, a lot of, maybe 50-50 balls every once in a while to Dez. Which never worked out because every time it was a 50-50 ball, Dez never caught it. So I don't know where Cedric Wilson starts off, special teams, and tries to work his way up as a punt and kick returner. Like
Yeah, he's definitely a hold, but like we talked about before with Michael Gallup, is that their receiving core right now is kind of a mess, and it's just up in the air. So it's almost like if you have a rookie coming into this situation, he's definitely a guy you want to hold on to and just see how it plays out. Who knows by the beginning of next year, if he's not the number 2 and you have Gallup and Cedric Wilson and you have Beasley in the slot, or if you have Hearns, Gallup, and Cedric Wilson, you don't know. Yeah. So he's definitely a guy that you want to take and you want to hold on to, because the situation is with a good quarterback and a really good running game, their defense is getting better, so you want to have something like that to hold on to. So it's a piece of the puzzle, basically.
Rookie draft, Cedric Wilson, 4th round, rookie draft?
Late 3rd, early 4th for me.
Okay, I would say early 4th then. But yeah,
he was taken in the 6th round, number 208, so he's literally right after Equinemius St. Brown.
Right. And I like Wilson better in this particular scenario just because of the team they landed on.
I would agree.
Last couple guys?
Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. There's 3 guys left as far as the draft goes here. First one was actually a pretty decent wide receiver at Georgia, Javon Wims. He was taken in the 7th round, 224th overall. Good size, 6'3", 215 pounds.
I mean, I don't know much about him. All I know is 6'3", 215, like you said. He's a big possession receiver. He has soft hands, which is good. And because he's such a big frame, he has a really good catch radius, which is good for Trubisky throwing to him, because Trubisky is not the most accurate quarterback out there. But he was Georgia's top pass catcher last year as a senior. So he was maybe just a late bloomer. I didn't really hear about him until last year.
No, you kind of saw a little bit in the playoffs.
But he wasn't
the Final Four playoff, the college football playoffs. So that's where you kind of got to know Javon Wims a little bit. I think he will definitely make the roster. I think they just give Chicago depth. I don't know how deep they go as far as what he's going to produce.
He's just a hold. He's a hold.
I personally, again, don't have him. He's somebody that you maybe pick up off the waiver wire and maybe throw on your taxi squad. I don't see drafting him in a 5th round.
Very late 5th, yeah. There's a couple of guys that got drafted after him that I would take above him.
I would agree. Yeah, he's definitely somebody that you don't want to just forget about, but you want to just maybe not draft in your rookie drafts. Here's a guy that I probably would draft in a rookie draft just because of his landing spot, which is Richie James. He got taken 240th overall, of course, in the 7th round.
By the San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers out of Middle Tennessee. So you didn't see a whole lot of tape on this kid.
No.
He's 5'10", 185 pounds, so he's not a huge guy. My problem is that he's going to be playing behind guys like Trent Taylor, who I know that the Niners really like a lot. So,
well, if you read the analysis on him, he's got something that I hate, and that is injury history.
Injury city.
Injury city all over the place. He only played 5 games last year. Undersized as well. He's only 5'10", 185. He's fast, but to me, fast isn't everything. You still got to run the routes. You still got to make the catch. You still got to go up and get the ball. And 5'10", 185. And the offense in San Francisco, he's going to be like the 5th or 6th wide receiver there. If he makes the team, I don't see him having any fantasy relevance whatsoever his first year.
But
zero.
But I bet you he'll still get drafted in rookie drafts.
Yeah, maybe.
Just because he landed with Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's possible. 5th round, though. I wouldn't take him above maybe late 4th, early 5th round. That's it.
I personally am not touching him.
Right.
I'm going to lay off so someone else will own Richie James, and if that comes back to bite me, then so be it.
Yeah, I agree. Last but not least.
I actually like this guy more than the last couple of guys we just mentioned. Trey Quinn. He was drafted as Mr. Irrelevant, the very last pick of the draft, so 256th by the Washington Redskins. All the hype you heard about Cortland Sutton because he's a prototypical receiver, he's 6'4", this and that. He played at SMU. They were teammates. He actually had a better season than Cortland Sutton this last year.
You know what? He is in a pretty good landing spot too, because Washington is kind of
doesn't have a whole lot.
They don't have Terrell Pryor anymore, so it's basically an unproven Jamison Crowder in my opinion. Josh Doxson, also really kind of unproven, and Paul Richardson.
Yeah, who's also unproven out of Seattle.
So Trey Quinn to me could squeeze in as like a slot guy, or he could squeeze in as a guy that's going to get a decent amount of targets there in Washington, because now you have Alex Smith throwing the ball, very accurate quarterback, and they're going to be throwing a lot in my opinion. So I think Trey Quinn could easily get 60 or 70 targets, but it just depends on what he does them. If they're all good short route like Cole Beasley type targets, I could see him getting like 35 or 40 catches this year.
He runs good routes too,
right.
So that's why to me, calling him Mr. Irrelevant was actually kind of funny to me, because I think he's more relevant than some of the other receivers that are on this list.
Oh, a lot of them, yeah.
I think they got a steal here by taking him the very last pick of the draft, and I think they have themselves like a little gem. I think that Trey Quinn's going to have a decent season.
So
I don't know how much in the first season, but I think he's having a good season.
Over under 40 catches year 1.
40 is kind of a lot.
All right, over under 37.
I'll take over 37.
Over 37, under 40.
And I love the bet if Jordan Reed gets hurt again. I love over 37 because it gives him more opportunity.
It's almost now, and I feel bad saying this, but it's almost like when. Like how many weeks is Jordan Reed going to play until he gets hurt is what I'm looking at. Is it going to be 2 weeks again, or does he get through 10 weeks? If you can get 10 weeks of Jordan Reed, that might be better than 75% of the other tight ends.
But tight ends, they don't
terrible.
Excite me. I don't. Besides like 3 or 4, it's like whatever. Just give me whatever.
I agree. So that wraps up the NFC wide receivers. We will come back probably later this week and do AFC wide receiver landing spots as well. Anything else that you do want to add to any of these rookies?
No. I mean, right now everyone's in the middle of their dynasty drafts, and they probably have their rookie drafts coming up. So hopefully this is giving you a little bit of a list to get started with, especially if this is your first year doing dynasty. Hopefully we gave you some good information, and you can use that to your advantage.
Yeah, hopefully not in the startup draft that I'm in right now, because I'm on the clock.
Yeah, well, let's just post this after the draft is done.
Yeah, I'm going to crack a cold one and make a pick.
Let's crack it.
I'm on the